going to focus on basic setup. We're going to also talk about communicating with your clients, a little bit about pipeline, and a little bit about automations. We talk about basic setup. We're referring to connecting your domain, setting up your user account and signature, figuring your calendar, then your marketing and social media, plus the various landing page, forms, and surveys. With your CRM, you're going to have a clear screen like this, where it's basically your launch pad with a few simple tasks to start you off with. In our case, since we're focusing within the mortgage industry, we can be a little more flexible in where we start from. But as a good point of all, we should start with, of course, including our domain names. If you already purchased your domain from GoDaddy or Namecheap or whichever service you use, all you have to do is go to Settings. From the Settings menu, you'll see on the left-hand side, scroll down a bit, Domains. Domains basically lets you add as many domains as you want to your system. So if you have multiple domains, you can have that. You can also add subdomains, which you can later on divide into the various aspects and sections of your platform or your customer engagements as you desire. It's simply a matter of clicking Add Domain and typing the URL of the domain you want. You can also add your domain manually, but that involves going to your registrar and then configuring the domain based on the parameters you're given. Cool. If I type, for example, Cliqtech.ca, and I said, going to do an automatic check and see who has the domain. In this case, it's going to be Cloudflare that currently has the domain, and then I can authorize it. Once I authorize it, it will open a new page for me and then show me how to quickly just use a simple click and add it to the system. But we're not going to do that here. Once you've added your domain, the next step is obviously going to add a phone number. Now, the phone line allows you to send SMS communications to your clients. You cannot use your regular phone line, as that won't work in the system. You can, however, list your regular phone line within the system. To add a phone number, we simply just go to the phone number section. Take note, you must have added a card to your system already. You can do that under company billing right here. Adding a number is just a matter of clicking Add, select the Add phone number, and break it down into the region you want. Let's look for Canada, a bunch of available numbers. If you say, I want something more specific, we can do 647, and let's do first part, apply that, and it will give us a list of numbers that starts with 647. Pick the number you like, and then purchase and buy. Each phone number would cost you about $1.50. Take note that is in USD, not CAD. Once you have your number gotten, it will display on the list here. You can have as many numbers as you want, or just one, depending on how you want to proceed. You might have one for SMS and one for calls, or you might have multiple other agents working with you that you might want to give a phone line to. So depending on your needs, you get as many numbers as you want. Once you're done with that, our next stage is setting up your user and signature. This part is very straightforward and very easy. You simply have to go to the My Staff section. And once you're here, you're going to see the list of all employees, but your name should be practically the item here, or the only item here. If you have multiple agents with you, you can also add them here. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to click on Add Agents. In your own field, this would already have been populated. So your name, your email, your regular phone line if you want to. Then, of course, you have to select a calendar. Now, usually there are two calendars already pre-built into your system. I would recommend you select the 15 minutes mortgage review calendar, which I will show you how to do shortly. Then your signature. I like enabling this because each mail you send out, you'd want your signature to be attached to it. And I'll also enable this, include the signature before quoted text and replies, which means that you have your message, then your signature. Then if that is a reply to a previous message, the replies will now come underneath your signature. Then your signature can be customized to whatever you want. In case you have some HTML codings in your signature, you can click on this button right here and paste in the codings. For most of us who have some fancy signatures, we can do that with this. Plus, you can also include images as you want. And also, if you want to have a book an appointment link, which I'll show you how to get one shortly, you can have this link added into the equation. So when you click on whatever link is in your signature, it takes you directly to that page. Then you have your calendar configuration, which will be blank for the time being, and your user availability. This basically allows you to set what time you're available for appointments on the calendar system. Mondays to Fridays enabled, then you can do, for example, you're available from 9 a.m. till, let's say, 4 p.m. And copy all will make all other days match that. Okay. If you have video integration or you have Zoom integration, you also see that listed here. Once you're done, make sure you save your changes and the details will be updated automatically. Next is to configure your calendar. Your calendar is pretty straightforward to configure. You go here and you select calendar on your left menu. Within settings, you'll see the previewed calendars already created for you. These calendars are your 15 minutes mortgage review and your referral partners presentation. If you decide that you want a different kind of calendar for something else, you simply just come here and click on create calendar. Now, most cases you'll be using this simple calendar. But for cases where you are building a class session, you can do the class booking or the round robin when you have more than just you as a mortgage agent within your system. So whoever is available gets the appointment, or if they want to book with someone else that's your partner, they can select the person they want to book with. Setting up this simple calendar gives you a description, give the calendar a custom URL. Do note that if you already attach your domain here, you can have this start off section be your domain. Your meeting duration, when you want the appointment to be booked, and location. If you have Zoom integration, you can switch this to Zoom. If you have Google Meet integration, you can switch that to Google Meet. Then confirm. Once you've done that, you will see your calendar list here. You can also, at any point in time, edit a calendar by clicking on these buttons, clicking on Edit, and you can see the details you wrote about your calendar. You can have an icon, an image. Usually, I would recommend this being a headshot of your face here. Set your availability here. Notification, who gets notified when this calendar has been booked. Connection to external calendars. This is where you can link your Google Calendar or your mail calendar to it. Customizations, basically customize the color, the look, the feel of your calendar based on what you want. Once you're done, make sure you save. And all changes will be effective immediately. Then we now have your email marketing, social media, and landing page. We click on go back to our original welcome screen and our marketing section. Marketing section lets us connect our social media accounts directly. Now, you can also have the emails, which you do not need your social medias connected to. But in case you want to be able to respond to customers on social platforms all from one location, you can do so from here after integrating your social media to it. But for emails, we have two sections. We have the campaigns and the templates. A campaign is basically your email outblast that you're sending to individual, might be from your contact list or from a list you've gotten or your active customers already within the system. Templates are basically pre-built emails that you can customize, create from scratch, or utilize based on what you want. Here's an example of this. We go to the holiday template. Let's just say Remembrance Day. Clicking on Remembrance Day takes us to a builder. The builder is where we can build the email Outlook. Now, the builder is similar to what you also find within the website builder. And it's made available to everyone. So you basically drag and drop whatever feature you want. Customize it how you like and make it look and feel as your own. You can use the templates you have created to be similar to be the final Outlook when you're sending a campaign. Here's an example. Let's say this Remembrance Day template has been completed. We've gotten all the things we want on it. We can then go back, go to campaigns. If we have a campaign here, let's see, we have Remembrance Day campaign here. This is a draft, it hasn't been sent out yet. Once we start that, we see our original template here, but in case we had something else, we can simply just click on New. It will ask us if we want to start from scratch, build the email from scratch, or if we want to select from an existing template. Now we can go back and start the Remembrance Day template here again. Once we've selected it, it comes out here. We can now make final touches, edits to the template and the email as we see fit. Then we send. Sending is either based on send immediately or send on a schedule. Let's say you want to send a birthday notification and you set it up in automations whereby at the person's birthday, an email gets sent. You will not use this section. This section is for something that you know is on a predictable day. Let's say you want to, on Remembrance Day, the exact dates. We can schedule it, type out what the dates will be, our sending email. In my case, it would probably be @nanocode.com. If we also want to type out my sender name, let's just say nanocode. Subject line, like in all email, you must have a subject line. And then the preview text is basically what they see before they open the email as an email content. Then you get to select who you send this list to. If you've built smart list, you can send directly to a smart list, or you can send to contacts that have a certain tag. In our last webinar, I had mentioned the importance of tagging all your clients and customers for the various industry or type of customers they are. Let's say you have regular customers and VVIP customers, and you want to send out this email to your VVIP customers. You would not be able to differentiate them if you had not already tagged them. So here we can select tag and then click on add and schedule what type of tag we had. Okay, let's say realtors or purchase leads. Whichever tag you've created within the system, you can just assign that here and then click on schedule when you're done. Because I haven't filled out all these information that's important, this icon is still light colored. So once I have that filled, we're good to go. However, if you're not sure exactly how the email will look on your customer or client's end, you can send out a test mail, fill out the basic information here, and send. Once you sent the test mail, it will arrive in your mailbox. You can take a look at it to make sure everything aligns with what you want before you do a final push. It's advisable you do at least 1 or 2 test mails before you send out your first campaign. Now, landing pages, forms, and surveys. A landing page is basically where you want a client to be directed to. It's a mini site or a mini showcase of a particular product or item where you get to say, hey, this is what I want you to focus on. These are the parts for this particular item, and push the client to a completion. For example, if we go to the site section on your left menu bar, we'll see a couple of funnels and landing page technically are the same thing. We'll see a couple of funnels that are already been created. An excellent example of this would be the quick app survey page. So We can edit this, and let's see if we can load it up. Let's edit. Now, your own page might look something a little different. I'm going to take this and do some minor edits to it. If you already have previous surveys done, then this becomes a lot easier for you. Let's say, I'm just showing you how to do a quick edit. We go here. We select this item right here, go down here, and we select let's do all-in mortgage. Remember to save. This is just the rough stuff, but yours should be already. Then we preview. This is what our simple landing page will be. From here, we can survey the amounts required. Remember, in your own instance, make sure you match what you need to match. You can remove the logo, change it to something else by simply clicking on that. Go in here from media library. You will already have images and some already existing logos and icons with the system. Reach up logos. You put the logo there. Basically, this is how you edit it. If you want your own image in something like this, we can do the exact same steps. And in this case, we can use the upload function, your image there. Once you're done, don't forget to save and publish. Save will save, it would make it live, publish would make it live so the customers and clients your domain and sites. Now going back. Now we talked about landing pages or funnels. Let's talk about forms and surveys. If you have an application form you would like your customers to do, you can create the application form directly here with the form builder. There are two existing simple forms within the system, not complex, but you can create really elaborate forms within the Cliqtech CRM. We have first email. Let's say you want something a little more elaborate. So we can come here and add other items. Now, if you want an address here, city here, it's just a matter of dragging and dropping. County. Let's move this down one step. Okay. If you want to also get your websites, you can put that there. Now, if, for example, what you need isn't here, create a custom field for it. Let's say I want them to be able to sign a signature. So you can check already if such a field is. And I'm not seeing one. Let's check in opportunity, also doesn't exist. So let's create it. We want it to be a signature field. Click next. We say this is signature. We're going to put it under our contact as the object, group it as general information, and save. Once we do that, we should be able to see it right here now, and then we can drag it to wherever we want. And we now have a signature field where customers can directly use it and trackpad or mouse to sign on it. Once we're done, we make sure we save the form. And we can preview what it looks like. Have our signature field. Don't mind my terrible looking signature. That's not actually my signature, but still looks kind of cute. Moving on. The same thing applies to surveys, but surveys are just a little bit different because we can have what we call steps and procedures in surveys. An excellent example of that will probably be this survey. The same builder steps apply. By clicking on add, we can add the settings. The same custom field exists for us to either use pre-existing custom fields created or add new fits. But the major difference here is that we have slides. It's broken down into smaller bites that are easy for customers and clients to work through instead of a very long drawn out form. So we have slide 1, slide 2, and that's basically it. You can have as many slides as you require to fit in whatever form or information you'd like to get from your customers. Once you're done with a survey, you can dump the survey on a page within the site or create a funnel page directly for the survey and design it as needed. That basically takes care of the basic setup. Once you have that, you should have your immediate Once you have that, you have your immediate accounts set up and running. You can do your basic operations, communicate with your clients. But speaking of communicating with your clients, we go to the next section, which is basically communicating with your clients. How do you add clients? How responding to customers and WhatsApp integration. I'm going to start with the last one here rather than the first. WhatsApp integration is available whereby you can have this phone number you've created integrated within the system or use an external WhatsApp number to connect the WhatsApp integration. But I have to stress here, it is not part of your existing package you get with RateShop. It is a separate paid service. So if you want business WhatsApp integration, it is a monthly billing. That's once you try and launch that feature, you'll see the pricing there. I think that's about $30 per month. If you do not want it integrated into your CRM, you can keep using your regular WhatsApp on your phone. That is out of the way. So let's talk about communicating with clients, okay? To do so, we have two places we can deal with clients from directly. We can either start from the conversation tab or from the contacts tab. Because this lets us add clients directly into the system. We have Michael and Ali already added into here as examples. And if you click on any of the names, you will see a field where you can edit the details for Michael in this case, and also your last bits of conversations and communications with him. Now, you'll notice here that it says email. If you have a phone number attached to your account, you also see SMS. If you have WhatsApp integration attached, next to that will be WhatsApp. In this case, only email is attached here, so only emails can be sent between you and this client. You also have some which includes tasks, status. You can add notes, you can have appointments, and then you can have documents. In case that particular client has certain documents that you want to attach to them, you can do that from here. Okay. Then you also have the communication section. 1 second. You also have the communication section, conversation section, where you see all the conversations you've had with everyone at a glance. So you can see unread notifications, recent, starred, that's the ones you've itemed out, and all. All communications will be here. So you can go ahead and type and interact. You see what I referred to, SMS, WhatsApp are all here. But these two are disabled because there's no phone line and there's no WhatsApp integration in this existing. So you can type your message and click on send. You can also schedule a message here directly. After you finish typing, and let's say you want to go out at 10 o'clock, you just come here and schedule it for that particular time. Once you're done with your communicating, you see the history where we can scroll up and see basically when we started talking to the person. If you also have a phone line attached, you would also see the calls you made to an individual here. Plus, if you have call recording enabled, you'll be able to play back your phone conversation with the individuals directly from this interface. Going back to contacts, let me show you how you can easily add a contact and then import a contact. To add a contact, we just basically click on this add button here. Brings up a screen, similar screen where we have our name, email, phone numbers, what type of lead it is, the time zone they are in, and then we can save. Now, after creating the contact here is where we'll now do things like add tags later on down the line. But in this case, what happens if you have 1,000 clients and you want to just import your 1,000 clients? You save it as a CSV file, you come here and you have import contacts. You take that file, you drag it into this box, or you click on upload. The map feature lets you map out basically the columns, first name, last name, or full name, email address. Once you're done, it will give you a brief summary of what that looks like before it starts the dictation process. And that basically covers how communication with your clients works within the Cliqtech CRM system. Next, management. We touched about this in more details during our last webinar. A few people asked concerning it. Pipelines are basically processes that you let yourself know that the processes from when you meet a particular client, these are the stages they're in, and this is the end results you want. Going to the opportunity tabs, there are already existing pipelines that were created within the platform. Now, in yours, you should see institutional opportunity, LMC reseller, land new hire, reach out clients, reach out referral partners. So based on what stage your client is in, you can move it from here to here. If you have automation set up for a particular pipeline stage, when you move a client from one stage within a pipeline to another stage, it triggers an action. We'll talk more automation in the next section, but take note of automation triggered based on the stage it is. For example, let's say I have the interview stage as we are now. What this does is if we move Michael to the interview stage where it was before, it can trigger out certain things. It can trigger a text message being sent to him, an email being sent to him, or trigger a reminder to you that, hey, you need to make a phone call to Michael at such a time. Clicking on Michael's card, you will see the particular details concerning him. The opportunity value is stated here. Who owns this? In most cases, if you're the only one on your CRM account, that would be you. Then other details concerning what is he looking for? Is he trying to purchase, refinance, a renewal, the commercial plans? You can edit that directly there. You have multiple pipelines, but let's say you want to create a new pipeline for yourself completely. We go to pipelines. Within as many pipelines you want, you can have 10,000 pipelines if you can deal with 10,000 pipelines, but I recommend just create the ones you need. You start from the create new pipeline. Let's call your pipeline P walkthrough. Let's say the first step take them to brunch. If any of you feel like you want to take me to any of this brunch or an opening, I personally wouldn't mind. Moving on, you save your pipeline, and your pipeline then shows right here. If you go back to opportunity, we can select the pipeline, VVIP workthrough, and we see these stages. Okay. We can add a new opportunity, which basically means adding a client. Let's add this and let's create it. Once we've created it, we will see it appear here. Okay. Then we move based on necessity. We can also call, send an SMS. We can tag him. We can add a note, add a task, and add element directly for this individual within that stage. And we move him based on what stage it is. Now, personally speaking, I'm not comfortable moving Ali to dinner stage because I will go broke overnight, but that's by the side. Next is clients migration to pipelines. Now, let's say a particular action has occurred, okay, which we call a trigger. Now, this is our segue into missions. Let's see particular action has occurred, which is a trigger, and he's filled that, and the part is successful. We go to the automation. Couple of keywords I'm using here. One is trigger. With any workflow system, it must be triggered by something. In other words, a previous action must have occurred for the rest of the automation to take place. Your trigger can be something as simple as a tag being added to be as simple as somebody booked an account. Can also be as a responded email campaign that you sent out last month, but it was just today the person saw the email, opened it up, and responded. You can also have intent behind the response. If it's a positive response or it's a negative response, you can have all sorts of triggers. Now, within your CRM, you already have pre-configured automations. Some of which are enabled by default, some are not. Let's take an example here is the LendMax investors automation. There are two. There is the LendMax investor and LendMax registration. Let's go for the registration. All workflow are shaped in the forms of trees. At the very top of the tree is our trigger. And then following the trigger, we have actions. You can have multiple triggers that trigger the same. Example, in this case, we have survey submission. So survey submitted, which is, if you do not have a surveys filter, surveys will be triggered. In this case, survey trigger is this email referral partner registration. That is what the trigger is. In other words, somebody filled out this particular survey. Once the survey is, let me move this out of the way. Once the survey has been matched, we can save, but this already exists, so we just cancel. And then the next series of actions take place. First is, great, he's filled out the survey. Let's convert him into a contact system. We do that. Now, here's a little trick. You can come here and extra fields, let's say contact source, and let's call it LendMax. Save that. What this does is we have extra fields. By the way, these brackets you see here are dynamic items. So they take the information from the survey and push them here when creating the contact. So you can have as many fields as you want. You can fill far more information than what's available here, like the city, date of birth, full name, state, and even other questions you've asked within the survey in question. So that's the step. Now take note, immediately this step is done, the next step happens immediately. And the next step happens immediately after that, immediately after that, immediately after that. But let's say you want to slow that down. You want that there is a time lapse between when the email or SMS is sent and when when the next interaction or next email or SMS goes out. We do a simple trick. In between that, we add what we call a wait. We set the duration for the wait. Let's say we want to wait 3 hours. So time delay, 3 hours. So between when this SMS is sent out and when this email goes out, 3 hours of wait time occurs. As with everything else within the platform, make sure you save. If you forget everything else, please don't forget to save your work. Because once you leave here and you click on that OK, all unsaved work is gone. We wouldn't want to start from scratch again. So if you're starting an automation from scratch, start from scratch, you have to decide 3 things. What triggers the automation is the very first thing. We can select from a bunch of triggers, and things have been made easy. If you have a birthday SMS you want to send to people on their birthdays, you can just start the trigger as being birthday reminder, or contact tag, or task reminder. You have a bunch of things: status call, email event, customer replied. That is customer replied to an SMS or an email. Form was submitted, a survey was submitted, a trigger link was clicked, a Facebook lead form was submitted, TikTok form was submitted, video tracking events, Twilio validation error, you can ignore that, LinkedIn lead form, websites or funnel page view. For example, if a customer or client views a particular page, or let's say you want a trigger that notifies you when you hit 1,000 views on your website. You can use that trigger there. Say, when I reach 1,000, send me an email, send me a notification that says, hey, congratulations, you've reached your first 1,000 people that have visited this page. You can also set by appointment status, by customer booked appointment. So let's just say customer booked appointment in this case. And remember, set a filter. If you do not set a filter, it will apply to all appointments. So in calendar, 15 minutes. Let's save that. So once a customer books an appointment or a 15 minutes appointment with you and it's on your calendar, this workflow is trigger. Do not forget to name your workflow. Something simple, something easy, just to make sure you can recognize and come back to it when you need to. What happens here? We want to perform the next action, which can be literally anything. In this case, let's say we want to send an SMS. Return. There are a bunch of templates within the system that you can choose from. If any matches what you need, great. If none matches, then simply just type your own. Hey, glad you can book an appointment with me, and I am looking forward to speaking with you. Yeah. So once you have that there, you can save it. But you can do some cool, neat tricks here. You can add details to this. For example, custom value appointments. We can have the appointment start time. We can have the appointment start dates, and basically all other fields we want concerning the appointment, including meeting location, a button to add to Google Calendar, a button to add to Outlook and iCal, a reschedule link, and a cancel link. We can add that all in here, and then we can save it. So our SMS is ready. Once this takes place and then it ends. That's it. Concluded. If you want to also shift it to another automation, you can do that. So I recommend you guys play around with automation to see how much of this tree you can build out as required. To see what the automation has been up to when you're not looking, you can come to the enrollment history and see who triggered this automation and at what time, plus what stage in the automation they currently are. If you have an automation that has a weight attached to it, this as days. If you have an automation that before the next action, within the enrollment history, you'll see current status as weights. It is also good practice that once creating this, you edit this to, let's call that the, let's call this 10-day wait. That way you have an e-readable, you can say, oh, this is a 10-day wait period. Then after that, whatever comes next, just make sure you label it so you don't have to keep clicking on it. That's what it does. Except you have an excellent memory and can remember all that. Your automation is not published. It will not be in effect. It will remain dormant until it is marked as published and saved. And whatever happens from that moment, books and this automation gets judged directly. Now, to see all execution logs for the automation, you come to execution logs, you'll see the entire history, who registered, when they did so, at what time, status, you'll see all that here. Then you can filter it based on last 30 days or just today or yesterday, depending on what you want to filter and see. Spending a little bit of time, you can literally automate everything in your business to Facebook replies, Google to SMSs. That way, your customer always has an interaction with you or the system. So that is basically automation, how to automate things, and how to use the workflow builder, which basically covers everything we have. I am glad I hope and you learned something. Have any questions? I'm going to check the section. Don't see any questions. That means we're all good and everything was understood clearly. I'm glad for that. So remember, you can email me at knock@nanocode.com. Nanocode is spelled NANOQODE.com. Or you can go to get-started.cliqtech.ca and book an appointment session with me if you need to, and we can explore setting up your system together. If you also want the professional setup done, please note that we do that. That takes between 3 to 5 business days, and we charge 300 Canadian dollars for that. Thank you all, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Take care and goodbye.